The perfection protocol. The neon-drenched streets of New Shanghai pulsed with an electric heartbeat, each advertisement hologram casting fractured rainbows across Miranda Lawson's pale features. She pressed herself against the corrugated metal wall of an abandoned manufacturing district, her breathing controlled despite the chaos erupting 3 blocks away. The screaming had stopped an hour ago. That worried her more than when it had begun. "Miranda, status report." Jacob's voice crackled through her comm implant, distant and tinged with static. "Still tracking the target," she whispered, adjusting her grip on the modified Carnifex pistol. "But something's wrong, Jacob. The neural patterns I'm reading, they're not matching any known Cerberus data." Through her biotic-enhanced vision, Miranda could see the thermal signatures scattered throughout the district. Some human, others decidedly not. The thing they were hunting had been described as a cybernetic organism of unknown origin, but that clinical terminology failed to capture the wrongness that seemed to seep from its very presence. The metallic screech echoed from the industrial complex ahead, followed by the distinct sound of rending steel. Miranda's genetically perfect reflexes kicked in as she rolled behind an overturned hover car, just as a massive chunk of reinforced concrete crashed where she'd been standing. "Contact," she breathed into her comm. "It knows I'm here." The silence that followed was pregnant with menace. Miranda's biotic barriers hummed to life, casting blue-white patterns across her black Cerberus uniform. She'd faced collectors, husks, even Harbinger's direct influence, but this felt different, ancient, hungry. A whisper of movement caught her attention, not sound, but a disturbance in the electromagnetic field that her enhanced nervous system could detect. She spun, raising her weapon just as the thing revealed itself. It had once been human, perhaps. The torso retained the basic bipedal structure, but everything else was a nightmare fusion of flesh and machinery. Cables writhed like veins beneath translucent synthetic skin, and where its face should have been, a collection of optical sensors arranged themselves in a pattern that hurt to look at directly. Most disturbing were its limbs, elongated, multi-jointed appendages that moved with fluid precision, each ending in a cluster of surgical instruments that gleamed with an oily sheen. "Hello, Miranda," it spoke, its voice a harmony of organic vocal cords and digital processing. "You are exquisite. Father's finest work." Miranda's blood chilled. "You know about my father? Henry Lawson's genetic manipulations are crude compared to what I have become." The creature took a step forward, its movements creating soft hydraulic sounds. "But you are the perfect template, the ideal fusion of human ambition and biological possibility." "Stay back," Miranda warned, her biotic energy flaring brighter. "I don't know what you are, but I am evolution, Miranda. I am what humanity becomes when it abandons the weakness of pure flesh." The thing's optical array focused on her with mechanical precision. "I was Dr. Elena Vasquez, head of cybernetics research for the Systems Alliance, until I discovered something wonderful in the ruins of Elos." Miranda's tactical mind processed this information rapidly. Elos, the Prothean ruins where Shepard had discovered crucial intelligence about the Reapers. "You found Reaper technology." "Not Reaper," the Vasquez thing corrected, tilting its head at an unnatural angle. "Something older. Something that watched the Reapers and learned from their mistakes. The Protheans called it the Perfection Protocol, a self-modifying entity designed to preserve intelligence by merging it with adaptive machinery." The creature raised one of its multi-jointed arms, and Miranda could see data flowing through translucent tubes beneath its artificial skin, but it needed the perfect biological template to achieve true synthesis. "Your father's work, his obsession with genetic perfection, has created exactly what it requires." Miranda backed away, keeping her weapon trained on the creature. "You're insane if you think I'll let you anywhere near me." "Let me," the thing's laugh was a sound like breaking glass mixed with digital static. "My dear Miranda, you misunderstand. The choice was never yours to make." The attack came without warning. The creature moved with inhuman speed, its surgical appendages striking like serpents. Miranda's biotic barrier absorbed the first impact, but the sheer force sent her sprawling across the debris-strewn street. She rolled to her feet, firing 3 precise shots at center mass. The bullets struck home, but instead of blood, a luminescent fluid leaked from the wounds, and they began sealing themselves almost immediately. "Adaptive nanotechnology," the creature explained conversationally, as it advanced. "Each injury teaches me how to better resist the next." Your father would be fascinated by the implications. Miranda launched a biotic throw, the invisible force slamming into the creature and sending it crashing through a nearby wall. She didn't wait to see if it would get up. She was already moving, her enhanced reflexes carrying her deeper into the industrial maze. "Jacob, I need immediate extraction," she gasped into her comm. The target it's something new, something that wants to use me for... Static filled her earpiece, followed by a voice that wasn't Jacob's. Your friends cannot help you now, Miranda. I have taken the liberty of jamming local communications. We need privacy for what comes next. The creature emerged from the shadows ahead of her, apparently unharmed by its collision with the wall. But now Miranda could see something else. Smaller versions of itself, spider-like mechanical entities that scuttled along the walls and ceiling, their optical sensors all focused on her. The perfection protocol requires willing synthesis for optimal results, the Vasquez thing said, its multiple arms weaving hypnotic patterns in the air. But it can also take what it needs by force. The choice, as they say, is yours. Miranda raised her weapon again, but found her hand trembling. Not from fear, but from something else. A strange resonance that seemed to pulse through her modified genes, as if recognizing something familiar in the creature before her. You feel it, don't you? The thing whispered. The recognition. Your genetic modifications, they're not as unique as your father believed. The perfection protocol has been active for millennia, subtly influencing human development, guiding us toward this moment. That's impossible, Miranda said. But even as she spoke, memories flooded back. The way her father had known exactly which genes to modify, as if following some predetermined blueprint. The dream she'd had as a child, filled with geometric patterns and whispered voices in languages that didn't exist. Your father found fragments of the protocol's code in an archaeological dig on Thessia, the creature continued. He thought he was creating perfection, but he was simply following instructions embedded in his own genetic structure. Instructions placed there by the protocol's first experiment with your species generations ago. The mechanical spiders were closer now, close enough that Miranda could see the minute surgical tools embedded in their forms. Her biotic barriers wouldn't hold against them all. What do you want from me? She demanded. I want to give you what your father promised but could never deliver, the creature said, extending one of its elongated arms toward her. True perfection. Freedom from the limitations of flesh. The ability to adapt and evolve beyond anything natural selection could produce. And the cost, your humanity, of course. But what has humanity ever given you except pain and limitation, your father's manipulation, your sister's resentment, the constant struggle to prove your worth to those who see only genetic tampering when they look at you? Miranda lowered her weapon slightly. The creature was right about one thing. Her humanity had brought her little joy. But she thought of Shepard, of the crew of the Normandy, of the moments of genuine connection she'd found despite her engineered nature. I've found something worth keeping, she said quietly. Love? The creature's optical array dilated with something like amusement. Friendship? These are chemical reactions, Miranda. Evolutionary tricks to ensure cooperation and reproduction. I can give you something far more profound. Eternal existence, unlimited knowledge, the ability to reshape reality itself. The mechanical spiders were almost within reach now. Miranda could feel their electromagnetic fields interfering with her biotic implants. In seconds she would be helpless. Last chance, Miranda, the creature said. Join me willingly, and retain some measure of yourself in the synthesis. Refuse and I will take what I need by force, leaving nothing of who you were. Miranda closed her eyes, accessing the combat subroutines her father had embedded in her genetic code. But she also reached deeper, to the part of herself that was genuinely human, the part that chose to care about others despite every rational argument against it. You made one mistake, she said, opening her eyes. And what is that? You assumed I came here alone. The wall behind the creature exploded inward as a bat of biotic shockwave tore through the building. Samara stepped through the breach, her Justicar armor gleaming in the neon light, her face a mask of controlled fury. Pathame, preserve me, the ancient Asari whispered, her eyes fixed on the abomination. What have they done? The creature spun to face this new threat, its surgical appendages reconfiguring themselves into weapon arrays. Another test subject. The protocol will be pleased to examine Asari neural architecture. But Samara was already moving, her centuries of combat experience evident in every fluid motion. A biotic singularity bloomed around the creature, gravity warping and twisting its form. The mechanical spiders were caught in the field as well, their delicate sensors scrambling as physics bent around them. Miranda used the distraction to unleash her own biotic assault, a perfectly controlled warp field that began unraveling the creature's synthetic components at the molecular level. Impressive, the Vasquez thing gasped, as its form began to destabilize. But the protocol learns from every encounter. It will adapt. It will return. Then we'll be ready, Miranda said coldly. The creature's optical array fixed on her one last time. You could have been perfect, Miranda. Instead, you choose to remain beautifully flawed. With a sound like tearing metal and dying electronics, the creature collapsed in on itself, its various components separating and falling still. The mechanical spiders likewise ceased their movement, their optical sensors going dark. Samara lowered her hands, the biotic fields dissipating. "Are you injured?" Miranda shook her head, though she was still trembling from the encounter. "How did you find me?" "Jacob detected the communication jamming and tracked your last known position." "I was in the area." The Justicar's expression softened slightly. "You fought well, Miranda. Your father may have designed your body, but your courage is entirely your own." As they made their way out of the industrial district, Miranda couldn't shake the creature's final words. Beautifully flawed. Perhaps that was the truest definition of humanity. Not the pursuit of impossible perfection, but the choice to remain connected to others despite every rational argument against it. Behind them, unnoticed in the rubble, a single optical sensor flickered briefly to life before going dark again. The perfection protocol was patient. It had waited millennia to find the right template. It could wait a little longer.